Hello Russian learners, welcome to Yes It's Russian, Oksana here. So today again I'm going to be talking about Russian grammar, and this video lesson in particular is dedicated to the Russian numerals. And in several of my previous videos I've already talked about Russian numerals. We've learned how to count from 1 to 1 million, and I made several videos on that theme, so if you haven't watched them, any of them, please do that. It's very important, of course, to know the numbers in any language. And today we are going to be talking about numbers as well, but about the different group of them in Russian, which exists also in English. So, if you don't know, typically the numerals in any language can be divided into two large groups. So, if you look at your screen right now, you can see them here. So, the first group is the cardinal numerals, and they are typically the numbers 1, 2, 3, and so on. And in Russian, there are 1, 2, 3, and so on. Basically, those are the numbers that I talked about in my previous videos. When we learned how to count from 1 to 1 million. And there's also a second big group of numerals, which are the ordinal numerals. And basically those numerals are used to when you are talking about the order of things. And those are the numerals like in English first, second, third, fourth, and so on. And in Russian they are ПЕРВЫЙ, ВТОРОЙ, третий, четвертый, and so on. So today we're going to be talking about them. So please be attentive further on. And right now we'll be writing down how the ordinal numerals from 1 to 10 sound like in Russian. So now on your screen you can see the Russian numerals from the 1st to the 10th. So now let us go over each of them one by one, and also let's pronounce them and talk about some of their specifics. So the numeral first in Russian will be ПЕРВЫЙ, ПЕРВЫЙ, ПЕРВЫЙ. The second is ВТОРОЙ, ВТОРОЙ, ВТОРОЙ. The third, третий, третий, третий. The fourth, четвертый, четвертый, четвертый. Fifth, пятый, пятый, пятый. Sixth, шестой, шестой, шестой. Seventh, седьмой, седьмой, седьмой. Eighth, восьмой, восьмой, восьмой. Ninth, девятый, девятый, девятый. And 10th, десятый, десятый, десятый. So the most important thing that you have to know about Russian ordinal numerals, and they basically act as adjectives. So just like Russian adjectives, they can have their own gender forms, their number forms, and their case forms. So concerning the cases, I haven't yet made a video on that theme, so I will not touch upon the cases right now, but we're going to be talking about the gender and number forms of these ordinal numerals. So as we know, the adjectives are always presented in the dictionary in its default gender form, which is the masculine gender, and the ordinal Russian numerals are as well presented firstly in the masculine gender form. So here all of the examples of all of the ordinal numerals you can see here are of the masculine gender. So let us write that it is the masculine gender. And you can take notice of the endings. They are kind of related to the endings that the masculine gender adjectives have. They are ый, ой, and I. So these are the endings that indicate that these numerals are of the masculine gender. Now let us write down the remaining gender forms, which are feminine and neuter. So the feminine gender forms of Russian ordinal numerals is formed by changing the ending oy into aya. So all of the feminine gender forms of the ordinal numerals in Russia have the ending aya, with only one exception, which is the numeral третий, which forms a feminine gender form by changing the e ending to the soft sign plus ya ending. So that is the exception to the rule. But all of the other Russian ordinal numerals from 1st to the 10th, but basically all of them form their feminine gender form by changing the masculine gender ending to the ending aya. So let us go over them. The first in feminine gender, of course, is первая, вторая, первая, вторая, вторая, третья, 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 that is the exception, четвертая, 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 пятая, пятая, шестая, шестая, седьмая, седьмая, восьмая, восьмая, девятая, девятая, десятая, десятая. And as for neuter gender forms of the Russian ordinal numerals, we have to change the default form ending, that is the masculine gender ending, into oye. So instead of y, we're having the oye ending. And again, we also have the same exception here with the ordinal numeral третий, which is the third. Here we form its neuter gender form by adding the ending soft sign plus e. That is the only exception, and others are formed by adding the ending or e. So that is, I think, quite easy. You only have to remember the third numeral третье. Let us go over them. Первое, первое, the first. Второе, второе, the second. Третье, третье, третье. Четвертое, 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 the fourth, the fifth, пятое, пятое, the sixth, шестое, шестое, the seventh, седьмое, седьмое, the eighth, восьмое, восьмое, the ninth, девятое, девятое, and the tenth, десятое, десятое. And since Russian numerals act as basically like adjectives, they also have their plural forms. And just like with adjectives, the plural forms of these numerals, ordinal numerals, have to be used, like, for example, with nouns, also in the plural form. So everything has to be correlated. So let us go over the plural forms of them. So here you have to know that the plural forms is formed by changing the masculine gender ending into ye, and that way we get the plural form of the ordinal numerals. And again, we have the same exception with the third numeral, which is третий. Here we change the masculine gender ending e into soft sign e. So that is what you have to remember, and the others are formed by adding the ye ending. Ye ending. And those are the plural forms. Let us go over them. Первые, первые, вторые, вторые, третьи, третьи, четвертые, четвертые, пятые, пятые, шестые, шестые, седьмые, седьмые, восьмые, восьмые, девятые, девятые, десятые, десятые. As for the function, the basic function that the ordinal numerals have in the Russian sentence, they can have like two main functions. The first function is them basically acting like the typical adjective and being the characterizing words. So they are used with nouns, serving like adjectives, giving these nouns a characteristic. And the second function is being a complement to the verb. That is, these numerals are used in the combination with the verb, with any verb, not just any, but some verbs, and thus forming a set expression that has its like set meaning. So let me give you some examples for both of the functions. So as characterizing words, the ordinal numerals in the Russian language can act like adjectives and be used in the phrases with nouns. So I give you these examples, which is, for example, this one. Первая любовь. Первая любовь. Любовь meaning noun. Now, любовь is a noun of a feminine gender, so we're using it with the ordinal numeral первая, which is the feminine gender form of this ordinal numeral первый. So первая meaning first, and любовь love, so we get the set expression first love, первая любовь. Next we have this example, which is второе место. Место meaning place. It is a noun of the neuter gender. We're using it with the neuter gender form of the ordinal numeral второй, meaning second. So второе место meaning second place. Like, you know, in the competition you can get second place or third place, третье место, and of course the first place, первое место. So since the noun место is of a neuter gender, we're using the the ordinal numerals in the neuter gender form as well. Next we have this example, which is девятый класс. Девятый класс, class meaning grade, like in school, and it is a noun of a masculine gender, so we're using the ordinal numeral of the masculine gender as well. Девятый meaning ninth, so we get девятый класс meaning ninth grade. And as for the second function of the ordinal numerals in Russian sentences, which is the complement to the verbs, it can be used in combination with verbs, forming some set expressions as well. So, for example, we can use the adjective, the numeral with the verb быть, meaning to be. So, for example, быть первым, to be first, is быть первым means to be first. Here here's an example of the ordinal numeral used in a special case form. So that is just something we'll talk about more later on, but just to give you a basic knowledge of how these ordinal numerals are used with the verbs, I gave you this example. So it is быть первым meaning to be first, and like, for example, it can be used in a sentence, but just in the past tense, and here it is он всегда был первым. Он всегда был первым. He was always first. That is how it is translated, and it's just a set expression with the verb to be and the ordinal numeral, which can be changed to any other ordinal numeral depending on the context, of course. You can also use the ordinal numeral with the verb, like, for example, приходить, to come, or to arrive, прибывать. You can say like приходить вторым, to come second, or прибывать первым, to arrive first. And like, for example, он пришел к финишу вторым. Пришел is the past tense form of the verb приходить, and finish means he came to the finish second, or he finished second, or you can say like he arrived second, прибыл вторым, so something like that as well. And here пришел is the past tense. So that is there are some of examples. You can use the ordinal Russian numerals in their connected to the verbs. There's just some examples, so just so you know that function of Russian ordinal numerals exists. So that is all for this lesson, and it is just a first part of the theme dedicated to Russian ordinal numerals. Of course, in further videos we'll learn how to count, how the ordinal numerals formed from 10 and 10th and so on. So there will be more videos on that, and for you to not miss out on them, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And if you like this video, if you found it informative and you liked it, please give this video your likes, and if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to write them down under the video. And please give enough time to your studies, stay safe, and I see you very, very soon in the next video. Goodbye!